Welcome to another Rod Squad review. We're going to be reviewing the N64 wrestling games. Most of these were all made by THQ, which THQ is out of business now, but back then THQ was on point. I believe the last wrestling game to come out for THQ was WWE 13. But this whole genre started, to me, it started with the Nintendo 64. For example, the first wrestling game on N64 was what? WCW versus the World. That was the first N64 wrestling game, and it was really, really good. It started the whole certain type of gameplay for wrestling games, and it actually put the wrestling games in the situation where they were becoming big pop culture phenomenons when it comes to video games. So I'm basically going to talk about which ones are great and which ones are bad, and which ones to pick up for the system. Basically, the best wrestling game on this system is No Mercy. No Mercy is the best wrestling game on this system, has the best controls, not the best graphics, because if you ask me, the other ones, the WCW ones have the better graphics, but it has the best controls, best speed up, best everything. Then we have the Japanese virtual pro wrestling games. Those are awesome because they feature all the Japanese wrestlers from Tokyo. This one has everyone. Has WCW and the Japanese wrestlers. Even though the Japanese wrestlers don't have their names and they're hidden because they didn't have the rights, but it has New Japan, All Japan, ECW, WCW, has everything in it. What more can you want in a wrestling game? The only thing it does not have is titles and entrances. If it had titles and entrances, it would be the perfect wrestling game ever made. Who cares about graphics nowadays? It's perfect. It's excellent. Gameplay is excellent. The speed is great. Everything about this game is excellent. And then we have part 2, which features, what is it, New Japan or All Japan? New Japan. All Japan. Features All Japan Pro Wrestling. You got your Misawa, your Vader. It's excellent. This one's excellent. The only problem it's missing is American wrestlers. Most of it's All Japan Pro Wrestling, but it does feature some New Japan, but most of it's All Japan. Perfect wrestling game. Then we have the first WWE wrestling game to be made by THQ on the title, WrestleMania 2000, which is perfect, excellent, no complaints about this game. Still played to this day, still have a ball with this game to this day. WCW Revenge. This game is awesome. It's the first one to feature Goldberg, one of my personal favorite wrestlers of all time. Dark Sting, it's just, they're so iconic. You got Hollywood Hogan. The entrance, the opening to this game, every opening to this on the N64 wrestling games are excellent. They intrigue you and they make you want to play the wrestling game. They are excellent, they're perfect, there's nothing wrong with these games. Then we have, I don't know how to pronounce this.
Tetsuden.
Tetsuden?
Tetsuden
Bokuden, something like that. But this game is very, very hard.
New Japan.
It's from Japan. It's a Japanese import. We actually modded the Nintendo 64 so we can play Japanese games. But it's very good. Just that it has a learning curve. A pretty hard learning curve that you have to get used to. But once you get used to it, you'll learn how to play quickly. Then we have the bad wrestling game, which is WCW Mayhem. This game it's not awful, but it's not good.
Graphic-wise.
Because graphic-wise it's okay, but it features backstage arenas and you can fight backstage, but the controls and the gameplay is just bad. It's like, to play it, you have to be a die-hard wrestling fan. And that's why we have it. We used to be die-hard wrestling fans. Not much anymore. Ever since, WWE's took a wrong direction. Then we have Warzone. This game also sucks. It's very bad. It's terrible. It's awful. So, yeah. So that's it for the wrestling games. I would like to show you guys some gameplay, but unfortunately, we don't have time. Oh, we do have time. So I'll show you a match real quick.
Exhibition.
So I'm gonna play with one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, which is Kurt Angle. He gets treated like crap, nobody likes him, and I'm gonna fight Chris Benoit, another great wrestler. So let's see if I still got it. The entrances aren't that good, but what do you want? It's Nintendo 64. And you're just happy to have an entrance. You suck. You suck. He doesn't suck. He's an Olympic gold medalist. And besides what Chris Benoit did, to his family, he is still a great wrestler. They should at least acknowledge him for being a great wrestler and not write him off the story. He has never been seen anymore since that accident. But you know what? Let's see. Start up. Shoulder tackle, which I always hated about these wrestling games. They all have shoulder tackles instead of clotheslines and stuff. To get clothesline, you have to play with certain wrestlers. As you can see, it does look similar to the new wrestling games like WWE 2K14, 2K15, which comes out soon. It looks very similar because they're all pretty much the same game. The trick with these wrestling games is to never let your opponent out of your sight. If your opponent gets out of your sight, he can start countering, start reversing. So if you keep on him and don't let him move, you pretty much have the match. You never seen Kurt Angle do a Hurricane Rana before. Yeah, baby. Angle slam. Let's try to finish this match up. Because I grow weary. I grow weary of this battle. Get in the ring. Let's see if that's the end of the match. And the victory goes to Kurt Angle. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little gameplay, a little talk about the Nintendo 64 wrestling games, and I hope to see you guys next time. Enjoy.